One of the things that I think you're famous for, Judy, is being able to maintain your energy. You kind of, for me, are kind of a model of so many people who, especially in this sort of healing field, burn out. They give so much of themselves that after a while, symptoms show up and so forth. You've kept going, and yet you have a great connection. So I always sort of try to model that from you. And for those of you who are maybe unfamiliar with this, Judy and John one night invented six-step reframing, in some senses simply for that. You modeled Milton Erickson and you wanted to kind of work out a way of preserving your energy, and that was years ago. So maybe you could just share that story again.
Well, I mean, I guess that was sort of the opening up to this idea of the power of intention, and the principle of intention that became such a part of NLP. But yeah, John and I, it was back in the days, where it was a little bit like being Willie Nelson, it was a new city every night, 20 nights in a row, training NLP and, catching the next plane and, overdoing it basically, overdoing it, and both of us getting sick. And we both had just horrible colds, or almost like walking pneumonia is what they said at the time. And we had just flown to Vancouver because we were supposed to work with some people in an institution there, who were having mental difficulties and were institutionalized. And it was all around the idea of anchoring. And the night before, we were both just feeling so bad, going, how are we going to get through tomorrow? How are we going to do it? And, kind of started thinking about, well, there's part of us that's really concerned here and not feeling well, and what are some, if I go to my more creative place, what are some ideas that I can address that might help me along this? What's the positive intention? Well, it's to get you to slow freaking down and take some rest, all of that. And it just sort of came out in a natural process. And I have to add that we did have a little shot of whiskey with that process, and that helped a little bit.
That's a 7-step.